Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Xraised, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. I'm your host, Miles, and I would say this is the perfect sequel to our last conversation with Laina and Patricia, because if our previous discussion explored the brain of legal intelligence, then this one dives into the heartbeat of global legal collaboration. And we have these two extraordinary women who are just not just watching the future unfold, they're building it from both sides of the legal innovation spectrum. Laina Chan and Patricia Gannon. I'm sure some of you at least have already encountered Laina from our previous episodes, an award-winning barrister whose work is turning heads as she built an AI legal research platform for lawyers in Australia and I suppose soon across the continents. While this is the second time we're inviting over Patricia, who has been weaving together legal communities across Europe. And she's taken everything she knows about community and trust and built a global social audio space exclusively for lawyers. So today we're diving into how these two leaders are redefining global expertise and practice, one through AI powered clarity and the other through voice driven community. Here's Lena Chan and Patricia Ganon. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Miles.
Hello.
Welcome back. It's so good to have you both here together again as we widen the lens. Global communities, trust, technology, and the future of legal practice. I'll start off with Patricia. You've spent decades watching legal communities form and evolve. From the European Commission, I learned to building one of the largest full-service law firms in the Balkans. With that vantage point, what convinced you that as a global social audio platform like yours was the next frontier for bringing lawyers together?
Yes, it's interesting. I'm very much a live person. I really love meeting people live. I'm an extrovert. I enjoy people. I get energy. I'm curious about what's going on in different parts of the world. So I've really, my entire legal career, that's what I've done. From law school, I was president of the European Law Students Association in Ireland. So immediately, I was engaged with lawyers in different parts of Europe who spoke different languages and came from different cultures. And I found that fascinating. I then spent some time at the European Commission, which clearly you saw how regulation in the same way cross-border was fascinating. I was on the international board of ELSA, running on a European pan-European student organization, and I guess I continued that throughout my professional career, building a large law firm. I felt, firstly, I had to put the countries on the map because Yugoslavia was breaking up at the time, so there was a new country popping up kind of regularly. So part of my job was to educate people internationally about what was going on in this region, and then I got very heavily involved in the International Bar Association, where I, culminated my career as a chair of Europe at the International Bar Association. So I've always enjoyed learning about other cultures. So I think everything that I've done all throughout my life has been about connecting people, curiosity, international collaboration. So it was obvious that the next thing that I was going to do when I successfully exited my firm was going to be something about communication and collaboration. So I just found a new way of doing it, which is more efficient with time and resources.
That's such a refreshing take, Patricia, especially in a profession that often feels tied to tradition. What you've described, as you said, communication and collaboration, those are really great foundation, I would say, and they really resonate. We always say that people don't just need information, they need access to
Mhm.
community, I mean, socially. And it sounds like you're giving them exactly that. Now, Lena, we've seen MiAI Law pick up incredible momentum lately. Sydney University reaching out, conference invitations, venture capital proposals, and a lot of attention from major legal institutions. In your view, what is it about this specific moment in the AI timeline that's drawing organizations to your work? What are they seeing now that maybe wasn't obvious, at least for you, in the last years?
I don't really know, Miles, but I don't really know.
Oh
It's
my
like when
goodness.
I caught up with the VC in Austin, 2 weeks ago, where Patricia and I met.
Uh-huh.
I said to the VC who had reached out to me and asked for a meeting, I said, I really don't know. Back in March, I was treated with utter contempt by the lot of you, all the VCs. And now all of you are inviting me and asking me to meet and asking me to consider you when I am next raising, etc. And he said, it really feels like it's an overnight switch, right? Like you go from 1 second where we're not interested in you at all because you're just an idea, and lots of people have good ideas. but you've made it a reality.
Mm.
And I don't know. Well, yesterday, a publisher that I'm working with, they're including us in their book where we're celebrating 100 years of democracy. It's a book that's commissioned by the History of Parliament Trust. And they gave me the copy and we were editing it, and they sent the copy back this morning and they said we are describing you as a pioneer. And it's true. There is nobody else who's delivering a product like
Mm.
us in the way we are delivering it. Other
Mhm.
people are relying upon the language models, internal learning, they're relying upon the language model itself. We, on the other hand, are relying only upon the primary law, the cases and the legislation. And I spent all of my time context engineering and putting up guardrails to prevent the language model from relying upon its own internal learning. So
Mhm.
we've been able to deliver precision, and we've been able to embody legal reasoning into our models. We do not use any reasoning language models, and we don't. So we're the first legal reasoning engine in the entire world. I understand.
Well
And
done.
maybe and we are, and we're definitely the first in Australia, but we're also the first in the world. So that must be why, Miles.
Yeah,
And we're the
I
we're the
chose that.
first we're the first social audio app for lawyers. So, it's a little bit scary on the one hand when you're
of
in that
course.
position. But if you're very driven about the purpose, if you understand fundamentally why you're doing it and where the gap really is. And I think because both of us have been practitioners for so long,
It's
we've
so
been
long.
we've been at the rock face. Let's not emphasize the so long part. We've been at the rock face, so we
Yeah.
understand from the ground up. And whilst it's
Yeah.
changing, the fundamentals are still very much there. And I think that has been quite empowering for both of us, probably.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And the
and
confidence.
yesterday we got amazing feedback from one firm that's piloting. The off the record feedback is that we're better than Harvey. Yes, we are. But, Harvey doesn't allow itself to be benchmarked on research. And as Nikki Shaver says, they don't do research, but that functionality is there. So as long as it's there, people can use it, and they're using it to benchmark us against. And of course, they also do contra reviews. So that was very nice. And then secondly, the first judge started trialing our product. And the judge who had facilitated this for the court, she was messaging me and she says this particular judge is just thrilled. She used the word thrilled with the results of the first research report. And he also separately emailed me and said the results are just excellent. And I said to him, well, just keep pushing the model. Remember that you can do multiple concurrent questions, not like Lexis or Westlaw, where you can only do one at a time and you have to wait for that
Mhm.
research to end before you can ask other questions. You can ask 50 questions at the same time if you want for us. So, and we have a process log which will tell you how each research is going. So it's really a force multiplier because you don't have to wait. If you know the
Mm.
subject matter area already really well, you will know what the questions are you have to ask. And the research can all be going on in the background while you are reviewing
Mm.
the research
Yeah.
reports that are coming back.
Mhm.
So it's pretty exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know,
And I
although, my partner, all the devs, they're like, well, it'd be really good, Laina, if you could just convert all these into contracts right now. And I said to them yesterday, I said, we do have some revenue, but I said, can you just give me some time? Because, as CU, my in-house counsel says, we're not selling umbrellas here. We need a bit of time to
Mm.
allow people to pilot the product, make their own minds and then work out how many licenses they want. So it's pretty exciting. I mean, we've only been launched 6 weeks, 5 weeks ago, 5.5 weeks ago. That's it.
Wow.
To the
Amazing.
public. Yes.
It's just such an honor to have both of you here. I mean, being the first ones in this space, you're both democratizing each of
Mm.
your, I mean, as I've said earlier, both sides of the spectrum. Your timing, Lena, seems to be meeting the moment perfectly. But after recording tens of podcasts with you, it made me think, even across industries, innovation lands hardest when the pain points become undeniable.
Mm.
As You've given an example of your difference from others. And legal research, well, that's a universal pain point. So, from both of your platforms, MyAI Law and Platform9, both rely heavily on trust. Trust in information, trust in community, trust in technology. What's the biggest design decision each of you made to ensure users feel safe and genuinely empowered by what you're building?
Well, I'll start with that in the sense that we're still very early stage in terms of some of our features that I hope to roll out next year. But all of our moderators are selected. So people who run our communities are people who have been sort of in a way vetted to start with. We ensure that they are appropriate in the sense of the content is appropriate for the community. Those who are right now, our app is free for anybody to download, either iOS or Android. So we're evaluating all of the time who are these people, where are they from. Verification and payment will go through Stripe, so we will have them verified. But at the moment, the community is, open and closed forums is an issue that has come up quite a bit, where some people have said, because our sessions are live and recorded, many of our users have said, what about Chatham House rules? Could we maybe do some sessions that would be off the record? And in fact, that's what we've done. We've got now a new feature, which is public and private, which can very easily be, literally it's a toggle that and that makes it as very, very easy, where you either, particularly the senior lawyers, for example, our law firm management group, they had content they didn't particularly feel comfortable speaking about openly in front of maybe everybody. So I think the fact that we can very easily close off content for a bespoke group is a feature that has come from the legal profession per se. So it kind of went against my democratization of access to all people, to everything. But actually, I have to listen to our users and give them what they really want.
Breaking
So,
barriers.
so within the one session, you can close
No,
off portions
no,
of the whole
no,
thing.
no. It has to be the whole thing. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, would you like to add something to that, Lena? How about on your side of my AI law?
I think it's transparency. We're
Mm.
very open
Yeah.
about what it is we're doing and how we're doing it, what our data sources are. And then even when it comes down to the research, we reveal the reasoning steps, the authorities, everything. And we're very responsive. So, the moment a user has a problem, they just have to email us with their problem, their
Mm.
problematic research, and then we're right on it and fixing it. Sometimes some fixes can take up to a week because I have to code it up and then we have to test it. But we take on board everything. We listen to everything the users say and we take on board almost everything.
Mhm. Well said.
The one thing I haven't been able to take on is when the users say, "Oh, but can we prompt it so that we can tell the model which side of the bargaining table we're on when we're doing contract negotiation?"
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Well, I can't do that. My answers have to be neutral, but I do give you three options for every clause that we say is
Mhm.
problematic, and it doesn't take much to work out on which which
You
clause you should
represent.
be picking exactly, depending on which party you're representing." So that's the one thing I haven't taken on. That I have to keep the answers neutral. I'm not going to tell you which one you should,
Mm.
That's
which
great that
option
you
you
listen
should
to your
go for.
users and also Patricia when they give you suggestions or maybe, their
Yeah,
doubts about
I
using
think
the
probably
platform.
because we're both at an early stage, we can still sort of do that. There will
Yeah,
come a time, and my tech team are advising that you will not be able, for multiple reasons, you will not be able to just, embrace and build what everyone has said
change.
is on their wish list. But I think at this early stage, as we validate, I think it's important that we do listen to what people have said is working or not working, and
Mm-hmm.
that will certainly help us with our product market fit, because we have
Yeah.
multiple aspects of the market that we can play in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And hearing both of you talk about safety as something proactive, you listen to your users, not
Mm.
defensive, is such an important reminder. Whether it's sales or any industry, compliance or technology, trust seems to be an experience. And you're both designing it right into the DNA of your platforms. And as you said earlier, Lena, your transparency is a great factor because it builds trust. So, Patricia, Platform9 is growing quickly across borders. From your vantage point, where do you see the strongest demand for a space where lawyers can learn, debate, and experiment together, whether public or private, without the pressure of formal settings?
It's interesting. The formal is a key word here, because like a lot of larger firms would have a lot of formal training, so they would be well met. And in fact, some of the feedback I've had from very large firms is, I'm not sure we need another app. We're sort of all apped out here. There's a lot of apps, there's a lot of interaction. Whereas smaller, medium-sized firms don't have as much. They don't have the same resources. They're desperately trying to find their niche to be able to compete in the future. Everyone is terrified of change. This is true. As I said earlier, I built this for younger lawyers, and they would certainly be the fastest adopters. Anytime I've done a legal career week, or we've run campaigns specifically for young lawyers, targeting them with respect to the skills that they will need to get jobs, and then the skills they will need to progress very quickly in those jobs. So that's been one niche market. The other one that kind of also surprised me was the legal tech market. This is a market, obviously legal tech is emerging very quickly. There are now thousands of solutions out there, and everybody's on the great big race. The great big gold rush is on for legal tech. Everybody stumbling over everybody else to sort of persuade the heads of innovation and tech people within law firms that this is the tool that you need, and it will solve all of your problems, and it's the magic wand and all of that. Gradually, with vendor fatigue, there's a realization that we might have more power if we had authentic conversations around the problems this technology resolves, and we provide them with a nice sort of medium that helps them build authentic conversations around their technology.
And when people feel free to ask their real questions,
Yes,
that's
and
when.
share.
Mhm.
This is not working. It
So
ain't as good as we said.
how
Uh,
do you see yourself different from Reddit?
Well, the live interactive conversation, within the communities are there for sure. But the live interactive conversations where we can bring in different parts. So, for example, in the practice areas, again, it's not that dissimilar in the sense that you can bring together, practitioners from different aspects, whether it's the in-house counsel or it's the law firm or it's a policymaker or an NGO or whatever. We
mhm.
can bring them together. I felt that was missing. That where we talk about the topics and we bring together people from a wide range of expertise and roles within the ecosystem, and it's difficult to find that access in a very easy way.
Right.
So, whilst Reddit, there's a lot of the tech, it's a lot textual. We're really looking at voice.
Yeah.
And I think that's when learning sticks. I think every professional, no matter what they're specializing on, craves a space where curiosity is not filtered.
Yeah,
And
and it's also feeling. I mean, one thing I've always
yeah.
said from day one, I want people to feel I enjoyed that. It wasn't boring. I learned something new. I liked the way Tom spoke to Judy. I had an idea that I could go on a walk, and I could,
Mhm.
meditate a little on that idea. It inspired me, and I
Yeah.
want to come back. That's the feeling we're hoping to have.
Yeah, right. And before we end this conversation, let's talk about access, Lena. What does the
Mm.
future look like where a young lawyer in a small firm or a barrister like yourself can tap into both my AI Law's research power and Platform9's global network of minds and mentors without needing the resources of a big firm behind them?
You still need good training.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the large law firm is that it typically gives you the best training. I mean, that's where I got my training from.
Yeah. Hmm.
And you do need, I just really wanted to increase the the ease of mastery of the law. That was really my aim. And if you look at my personality tests, for me, the most important thing is mastery.
Mm.
So, so that's what I built into the app to allow the user to develop mastery of the law in whatever areas that they are practicing in as quickly as possible. And so, when we're practicing law, there are specific areas, when you're a barrister anyway, we're not siloed. Well, I
Mm.
may say that I'm a construction law barrister, but there are other areas of law that I also need to be familiar with And MiAI Law allows you to get on top of the peripheral areas of law faster. And maybe in a large law firm, it's more siloed, like you're in the property department, you're in the construction law department. It's very siloed. But then as you get down to the level of lawyers, the smaller the law firm, the more generalist you have to be, I think. And
Yeah.
so a tool like this like MiAI Law, will ease the way for the practitioner to be on top of more than one area of law much faster. And then with Patricia's app, then they don't feel like they're alone. They can attend
Correct.
Patricia's, I call them CPDs, CLEs, where she's having these community conversations, led community conversations in specific subject matter areas, so that these lawyers can go on and attend sessions that they find of particular use to themselves, learn about the subject, and then also build a network of support from other practitioners who might be in the forum. So
Exactly. Two things, I guess, from my side. One is everybody talks about the agile mindset and curiosity. I think we have to make it as easy as possible to, support those. We talk about it as if it's a foregone conclusion that we've all had it. If people are sort of siloed and in one practice area, it's very difficult. You're worn down, you're tired, you whatever. You don't have enough time for the curiosity. Let's make it easy. Let's meet those young lawyers where they are, which is on their devices. The feedback I get from a lot of law firms is that, the lawyers will do the work. They're great. They're brilliant. They're focused. They make their targets, but trying to get them to do something above and beyond that is a real challenge. The engagement of lawyers in anything above and beyond what they're currently doing, mostly because they have huge targets, right? And they're probably wrecked. They're wrecked. Let's make it easier and let's make it interesting and let's make it on demand. You listen to what you want to listen to in the way you want to listen to it when you want to listen to it.
Yeah.
So making it easier, and particularly also for, in terms of diversity and inclusion. For me, a huge factor was being a woman, where you often didn't get access to the intel that was going to be the intel that was going to make you, progress your career faster or get you into that case that was a juicy case that was going to be a juicy. So I just feel we have to find ways to meet the lawyers where they're at. And regrettably, and it is a fact of life, that they're on their devices.
Well, even when I worked in a big law firm, I always had counsel who are like my trusted advisors that I could pick up the phone and
Yeah.
I would say, what do you think about this or what do you think about that? And they would give me the answers and push me off on the right path for free. They didn't charge for it. But that's the benefit. You can ask the app these questions, see what answers it gives, and then you could attend one of Patricia's forums and have a
Yeah.
discussion and bounce ideas around.
Just keep it real. It's all about keeping it real, and keeping it authentic and realizing that, you're not alone. The world is changing. We have to, change management requires management, which means that we need to stay on top of that. And I think law firm leaders are becoming more and more aware that they've got to do something a little bit differently in order to attract the best talent and to promote the best talent earlier in their career. Otherwise, they're going to walk. Simple as that.
Right. And talk about an empowering vision, Lena, mastery of law. I just want to put a spotlight on that. Mastery of law through experience, not because they're relying on the AI tool itself. And I love how you structured this so thoughtfully, Patricia. It's so authentic as well. So for sure, this hits home for anyone here today. And listening to both of you, I'm struck by something simple but powerful. The future of legal practice is really about smarter tools and stronger connections. AI brings clarity, community brings confidence, and when you put those together, you get a legal ecosystem that actually feels human again.
Don't become an expert in any area of law by being in a silo.
Or by being alone.
Exactly. Well, folks, this is exactly how innovation should work, making things faster, fairer, authentic, and more accessible for everyone, not just a select few. So, Lena, Patricia, thank you both for sharing your time once again, your insights, and your passion to the Xraised community. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Thank
been fun.
you.
Thanks,
Thanks everyone for
Patricia.
tuning in. Follow Lena's work at MyAI.law and join Patricia and thousands of lawyers on Platforum9.com. Both platforms are open, growing, and genuinely designed to make your professional life easier, smarter, and more connected. Until
Oh,
next
I'm
time. Yes.
gonna join her platform now.
Go
Yeah.
for it. Talk,
Go.
talk
Well,
soon. Thank you.
okay, this has been your host, Miles. Stay focused, driven, and inspired with Xraised.